Guardians of governments and people, the world elite have found a way to rule nations. There are claims having to do with this. Apocalypse and Armageddon. Let's remember recently, a few days ago, Lagarde, together with President of France, Emmanuel Macron, went to visit China and came back saying that the European Union should not be a vassal of the United States. Of course, we know that England was not included in the EU, the European Union, because of Brexit. So I guess France and Emmanuel Macron took it upon themselves to speak for the whole of the European Union. And recently, the Vatican entered into a partnership agreement with a certain Council for Inclusive Capitalism a few years ago, on the 2022. Publications with such headlines were published in various media. In fact, the Council for Inclusive Capitalism is a Vatican project, which is supported probably mutually by large financial institutions, including the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Fords, and other. In other words, a WEF from Davos. The idea of creating such a council arose after the Global Forum in Rome in 2016, where the pontiff of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis, also spoke and was attended by representatives of large world companies. The council includes firms such as IBM, Lenovo, EY, MasterCard, DuPont, Allianz, TIAA, Star Secret Corporation, and many others with U.S. registration. The Fortune publication noted that Bank of America, BP, Johnson & Johnson, Salesforce, and several others from the Fortune 500 have recently joined the council. It should be noted that the publication is a media partner of the council, Fortune. And the Secretary General of the International Trade Union Confederation was also present at the presentation of the council. Guardians of government and people, ? The council's website states that it manages $10.5 trillion US. The market capitalization of the member companies is 2.1 trillion and represents 200 million workers in 163 countries. Of course, this is a drop in the bucket if you include the Asian country. If you compare it to the Asian countries, that's nothing. At the top of the 200 million workers, at the top of the council pyramid is a governing structure called the Guardians. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan is one such guard, quote unquote, and in his opinion, capitalism exists to do the right thing if it is managed appropriately. There are 27 such guards in total. It's important to note here a very interesting coincidence. In Freemasonry, 27 degree is the sovereign head of the temple. Upon initiation to this degree, it's explained that new members of this level must defend their doctrines and principles as well as monitor the execution of the prescriptions issued by the highest ranks of the order. In addition, the 27th degree Freemasons are supposed to be a kind of judges. Among these guards, also the chairman of the board of directors of Johnson & Johnson, Alex Gorski, Secretary General of the Organization for Economic Cooperation Development, Angel Gurria, Chairman of Visa, Alfred Kelly, California State Treasurer, Fiona Ma, President of the Rockefeller Foundation, Rajiv Shah, Ford Foundation President Darren Walker, renowned investor and manager Mark Weinberger. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, who is the founder and managing partner of Inclusive Capital Partners, also spoke at the presentation saying that this advice follows Pope Francis's warning to heed the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor and respond to society's demands for a fairer and more suitable growth model. So in other words, they're saying that they're following Pope Francis's warning of the Catholic Church. Now let's remember the Catholic Church and all Christian churches denounce Freemasonry because of the fact that they're not Christian. Now, Davos guards the Bilderberg Club, some decisions of the single world behind the scenes. In other words, a globalist umbrella. The section on the guidelines of the Council says that an approach is needed that provides these things: equality of opportunity for all people to achieve prosperity and quality of life, regardless of criteria such as socioeconomic background, gender, ethnicity, religion, or age. Fair results for those who have the same opportunities and use them in the same way. Fairness between generations, so that one generation does not overload the planet and does not receive short-term benefits that entail long-term costs at the expense of future generations. You know what that means, right? The elderly. Fairness, in other words, one generation does not overload the planet, does not receive short-term benefits. That's the elderly. Fairness in relations to those members of society whose circumstances do not allow them to fully participate in the economy. That means people that have some kind of a neurological disease or whatever. They can't fully participate in the economy. So if you can't work, you're out. Does that sound good to you? It doesn't sound good to me. The declared goals are strikingly reminiscent of those that the order of, quote, Freemasons, quote unquote, does not hide from society, but almost parading. However, if some analogies with Freemasonry are indirect, then with another powerful force on a world scale, globalists, they are the most direct. And similar statements about the need for fairness and distribution of resources can be found in those structures that often include the same people. The Davos Forum, that is WEF, the Bilderberg Club, etc. The decisions made there and the consequences of these decisions are widely known, so there's no need to be under any illusion about the intentions of the leadership and their advice, sign of end times, and the coming of the Antichrist. Now, as far as the useless workers, useless people that are not working, that can't work, okay? What if they're comparing how much you work? You work, but you're not working enough for them. Or those that, the fairness between generations, so that one generation does not overload the planet, does not receive short-term benefits that entail long-term costs. Okay? Obviously the elderly. I'm not going to even go to think about children. I'd like to know what Pope Francis says about these statements by the guardians of governments and people, the world elite. That is not even Christian. So this is a very confusing, Christ does not confuse us. We have a spirit, the Holy Spirit of boldness, not confusion. It's the devil who confuses us. So I'd like to know what the Pope says about this. This is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.